Hello. Namaskaram. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. It is an auspicious day for a new beginning and indeed a lovely evening. I extend a very warm welcome to all of you. Regards to our dignitaries here today, arts commentator and journalist S. Janaki ma'am, raconteur Janaki Sabesh ma'am, founder and director of Bharatanatyam Institution, Sri Mudralaya, Kalaimamani Dr. Lakshmi Ramaswamy ma'am. We are honored to have you here with us today. I am Aparna Krishnamurthy and I feel very happy to be here this evening with Jagyaseni Chatterjee. We fondly call her as Pooja, a good friend and my dance colleague. I would like to introduce and compliment her as a girl with grit and goals. I have known her personally and professionally for over a few years now, and I have always admired her for her perseverance and hard work. She adorns many feathers to her cap as a dancer, writer, researcher, and teacher, and always comes up with new and innovative ideas to promote the dance form. Today, we are here to launch the first cartoon character, Suki, the parrot and a dancer. Where do we find this Suki? Through a book for now. That's what we are here for, to celebrate the launch of the book, Learn Dance with Suki, designed exclusively to trigger more interest in young minds to learn this dance form. I'm sure it's the first of its kind, activity-based and fun way to engage the learners. Waiting to find more about it? Let's hear from the speaker, Jagyaseni Chatterjee.
Thank you, Aparna, for your kind words. If one believes in imagination and the power of creativity, anything is possible. I never ever thought that I'm going to come up with something like this. 2021, when I was quite perturbed with my knee rehab and I was going through sleepless nights, in one of those sleepless nights, I suddenly, in the brief of the sleep, I saw a few pages running in my mind. I immediately got up. It might sound very poetic, romantic, unrealistic, but that's the true story. I immediately got up and started writing. That night, I penned down more than 7 pages at one shot, Word doc, laptop, back to back, and I named it as my first book of Bharatanatyam. The next day, I ran to my Lakshmi Akka early morning to share this piece of news that I've come up with something very innovative, according to me. She gave a nod. You know, when a nod comes from a teacher, it's a big deal. And I was very, very happy that she had given a nod. And it was just morning for her. She doesn't really talk much early in the morning. I shared it with a friend of mine who said 3 words. So after the nod, one gesture, I had 3 words: finish the book. I spent some time in the GIRI store browsing books, and I met Mr. Ram Narayan, the director of GIRI Publications, who told me, we'll not publish a single book. You start working on it as a series plan. So the book happened with the help of GIRI Trading Agency and the team of designers comprising of Balachandar and Ranganathan. Both of them are here today. Let's give them a big clap, please. We'll introduce them here on dais soon. But if not for Keshav sir, Suki wouldn't have happened. After seeing a few pages, it was Keshav sir's magnanimity to tell me, come up with a character that could lead the whole book. it took me a few hours and we were still brainstorming, and Lakshmi Akka said, why don't you come up with a parrot? So the whole credit of Suki being a parrot or taking the shape or a form of a parrot goes to my teacher. And why not? Because our Sukha Marga production is one of the most cherished production. We named her Suki, and Suki is a bird. It is meant to fly. So ideas came popping, and Suki the dancer has 82 followers even before it launches. I am thankful to my genes and my guru. I hail from a mother who brought me up reading poetry. She would wake me up on a Sunday afternoon and tell me, draw, can you copy or color the rainbow that you can see? My father would help me decorate the Rath Yatra chariots. In Bengal, it is very, very popular, and a kid is supposed to decorate the chariots and and drive the chariots on the road during Rath Yatra. It's a very special thing for us because that's when we show our decorative skills of all the cutting, paper cutting, and all. It's a very enjoyable, and we give some prasadam to the people, and they give us some money, and that becomes our pocket money. I have grown up in a family where my mother celebrated every red mark I got in my math by giving me fried rice and chili chicken. And and even before my class 10 results came, my mother was ready to make a room for me which is only for arts. So she made it with stained glass painting and all sorts of decorative things, and she said, this room is not for your academics or anything. I am not even expecting you are going to do any bit of academics. You do whatever you feel like, but what you must do is practice arts, necessarily music, dance, and fine arts in every form. That is where you can learn, and that is where you can learn life skills. I have carried these lessons from my mother throughout, and whatever I do, I try to inculcate, amalgamate, and showcase the little bit of creativity I can through dance, through arts, putting it everything together. And of course, we all know that Durga Puja is the most celebrated, biggest festival where there is sheer display of craftsmanship. And I've learned a lot from that. So art kind of became a way of life. And then I moved to a college where sister told us, do not walk with the flock, stand apart, stand out. So I was necessarily groomed, in fact factory made in a way that I am bound to think differently, bound to do something which stands apart, or in some way it is original for sure. I'm genuinely blessed to be able to live, breathe, dance every second with my Acharya turned mother and Guru Dr. Lakshmi Ramaswamy. With her diverse and unique works, she is an inspiration for this and generations to come. With ma'am, there is of course Ramaswamy uncle, my father like, whose array of questions and critical outlook pushes me further. So the least I can do is try out something unique that inspires the others to follow. Suki Learns to Dance is a book for children to develop dance skills and intelligence, and I hope that going forward, children across all dance schools, they take it as a coursework, and young teachers, instead of just making them parrots, take parrot as the teacher and teach them what is there in the book. It will definitely be useful, and parents would know how to engage the children in some meaningful activities. The other day I went to see some movies with cutting and violence and all that, so I was very upset. Why are children made to watch these? Why are parents not engaging them in some meaningful ways? These are certain instances that has made me feel that let's create something meaningful, and it's time that we also have activity books that are instilled in Indian culture and mythology. So that's how it happened. I'm very thankful to all of you for coming here. Thank you, the two Janaki aunties. Thank you so much for agreeing to come. And over to Aparna.
That indeed sounds like a dream come true. So she has dreamt of the book and today it has come true. And I'm already so excited to grab a copy of the book myself. I'm sure you all are so excited too. So without further ado, I would like to invite our dignitaries onto the stage, please. S. Janaki ma'am, Janaki Sabesh ma'am, and Lakshmi Ramaswamy akka. It's my privilege to introduce our dignitaries today. Arts commentator and journalist for almost 35 years, S. Janaki ma'am has been associated with Shruti, India's premier magazine for the performing arts since 1989. She is now the editor-in-chief of the magazine. She is a core committee member of Natya Rangam, current vice president of ABAI, and has served as member Publications Committee of the Central Sangeet Natak Academy, New Delhi for several years. Janaki ma'am's holistic training in dance, music, and painting has helped her make a mark in the field of Natyam. She has performed for over 25 years in the industrial belt of eastern India. She has extensive learning in Carnatic music, dabbled in Hindustani music, and played the Hawaiian guitar and learned the fine art of painting. Amongst a handful of honors and accolades, the S. Rajam Award of Excellence from Sunada Trust and Naradagana Sabha, Chennai 2019, Natyakala Visharada at the Natyakala Conference from Sri Krishnagana Sabha, Chennai 2018, Mohan Kokar Documenting Dance Award for Arts Writing from Attendance, Bengaluru in 2016 are the most recent, to name a few. She is a popular compere for formal cultural programs and, in short, a lifelong student of music, dance, and painting. Thank you so much for your presence, ma'am. Janaki Sabesh ma'am writes, performs, and lives through stories. Her distinctive and authentic style of blending narration, music, and movement is loved by children, youngsters, corporate professionals, teachers, and everyone alike. She has authored the Jungle Storytelling Festival 2018, a picture book for children published by Tulika Books, and co-authored Party's Rasam 2021 with her daughter Dwani Sabesh and published by Karadi Tales. Wearing a variety of hats and totally in love with it, she is an accomplished actor, voice-over artist, experienced marketeer, facilitator, and the chief fun officer at her own storytelling initiative called Tales. She brings people together through intimate storytelling experiences around food, music, and nostalgia. She finds complete joy in transforming mindsets through storytelling. Thank you for joining us today, ma'am. A Bharatanatyam exponent, Kalaimamani Dr. Lakshmi Ramaswamy is a well-known researcher and established teacher for over 3 decades, thought-provoking author and curator of Natyamrita Manthan. But what she likes to refer herself as is a devotee of Natya. She has culled a vast and myriad repertoire for her students and choreographed 29 full-length productions and over 150 solo units. She is also a recipient of US Fulbright Fellowship and a Senior Fellowship from Ministry of Culture, India. A top-grade artist of Doordarshan, an empaneled established artist of the ICCR and the South Zone Cultural Center. Guest faculty at Madras University and PhD guide at Wales University. She has traveled for performances, lecture demonstrations, presentations, and keynote addresses in various national and international forums. Thank you for being here today, Akka. May I now request the editor-in-chief of Shruti magazine, Janaki ma'am, to officially release the book and present the first copy to Kalaimamani Dr. Lakshmi Ramaswamy. This marks a very memorable moment for the disciple Jagyaseni to present her work to her Acharya, Dr. Lakshmi Ramaswamy. I request Janaki Savesh ma'am to receive the second copy of the book. A book launch is a special moment for the writer. It's about to become precious with the blessings of our dignitaries today. I request S. Janaki ma'am to share her thoughts on this evening.
Yellorukum Namaskaram. Good evening. Namaste. Hearty congratulations to Jagyaseni Chatterjee on the launch of Learn to Dance with Suki. Jagyaseni, of course, as she was introduced and many of you know, is a dynamo. She's a bundle of energy, very multi-talented, a performer, teacher, curator, and a techie too. She dares to dream, very highly ambitious, passionate, and persistent about pursuing her dream. So, this is how this dream of Suki, the dancing parrot, has finally come true and has become a reality. We congratulate you on your persistence, your grit, and determination to make your dream a reality. Suki is going to be a success. One, because Suki is a cute, lovable pet, the parrot. And two, who has given her the form? Who has brought Suki to life? It's none other than Keshav, the great artist, well known throughout India and even in international circles. He has given a beautiful form to Suki, the parrot. And about the book, she just showed me the book when she came to formally invite me, and she, as usual, being a techie and a much younger generation, she sent me WhatsApp images of the book for me to go through it. It's a very interesting Indian dance-related activity book for children between 4 to 8 years. It's going to be very interesting for the child and equally interesting for the parent of the child who's going to be learning dance, because very often they don't know what's happening and what is it that goes into learning dance. There are very interesting things like, match the following. You have pictures of birds, animals, and hastas for you to match. Then you have something like Ar Vidyasatai Kandupidingal, find those 6 differences. So what she's done is you have 2 figures, there are more figures, but like you have to compare between 2 figures of a dancer in dance costume and try to find out the differences. What is missing in one, what is missing in the other, so things like that. And then there's a game of dice from where you go to your, from the starting point to the destination, and wherever you stop, she has exercises for the little kid to do, all related to dance. And then she teaches, there are lines where you learn how to do stick figures. In fact, Lakshmi and even my generation, I'm older than Lakshmi, and I'm past 60, And even the older generation have been drawing stick figures, but we were never formally taught how to draw these stick figures. My mother used to draw stick figures for me when I used to learn, because when we were kids, all the different, and then what she has done is she's also how to draw out the, the steps, the process in an adavu through stick figures. And so all that, she has given you copywriting lines. She has made those lines so that the kids can draw. So all this is very interesting, that a child is made aware of so many things about dance while you start thinking about dance at the same time. There are pictures, then there are coloring. You have to color the gods you dance about. So it's a very interesting book. So I recommend it strongly for the little children 4 to 8 years who are learning dance. And also I recommend it to the parents, because they are the ones who are going to buy it. The kid is not going to buy it first. So I recommend it very strongly to the parents of children who are learning to dance. It will be fun for especially children of the modern age who like to do a lot of things while they are doing even one certain thing. So again, I think we should give a big hand to Jagyaseni for thinking about such a concept. And Suki it's very interesting because, like she said, she drew the inspiration from her guru, Lakshmi, who did the Sukamargam. And the parrot in the Indian culture stands for, I was talking to Sudha Seshian, and she's a treasure house of knowledge about almost everything under the sun. So she was actually telling me, yeah, of course, the parrot is very special in Indian culture and heritage. So the parrot stands for Jnanam, Azhagu, and Nanmai. And the 64 ஆய கலைகளையும் குறிக்கிறது ஒரு விதத்தில். So actually it is said that the parrot, which symbolizes all the 64 arts, is held by Meenakshi on her right shoulder because she is supposed to have been parangat in all the 64 arts. So that's one thing. Then personally I feel the parrot is a very good learner and will be an equally good teacher. Why? Because the parrot always repeats, and repeating and repeating and repeating, not necessarily just like a parrot, but as you keep repeating over the years, you start thinking about it. Initially, you will start repeating like a parrot, and then you start thinking, why are you repeating? And it takes you deeper and deeper, deeper into whatever you're doing. So I think Suki is the very right mascot for such a book to take you through the journey of dance. So this is a Konjum Kili. And if you watch, you'll find that Konjum Kili has a Konjum Chalangai. And I think Janaki Sabesh is probably going to take us through a story of the Konjum Kili with the Konjum Chalangai. And Suki will certainly become the Sakhi for little dancers. In the dance scene, all of you must have watched that every Naika has a Sakhi, and very often the Naika will be talking to the koel, the kaku, and the parrot is a very, very cute little pet which the heroine always has, and she'll be persuading, giving her things to eat and say, please go to my hero, please tell him I'm waiting for him. So you can tell you can even tell lots of things. You can even send the parrot to scold him and come, necessarily don't have to keep pining for him, all the while. So this parrot is definitely going to be a nice little Sakhi for all the little kutis who are going to learn dance. And the Kili has been a messenger for dancers, the Naika. So this Kili Suki is going to be a nice messenger to take the message of classical dance to little children, and here in Chennai, beyond Chennai, and the world over, because the parrot can fly high and fly across distances. I once again congratulate Jagyaseni. I also congratulate the publishers, GIRI, for putting their trust in her, because personally it is such books, music and dance books are very important, and music and dance is coming into the curriculum nowadays, in the sense the teachers are using music and dance to teach children and make it interesting. But music and dance as such should also become part of the curriculum, because music and dance is a lifelong experience of learning and can make a man much more civilized, away from violence and suicide and other things. So with these words, I would like to heartily congratulate the person who has conceptualized the book, the printers, the publishers, and the entire team of Suki, the dancer. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Words of encouragement, and I'm sure there's going to be a new favorite pet in all the kids' home now. So they're going to talk about Suki and try to know a lot of things about the parrot. Thank you so much, ma'am. I would like to call upon Janaki Sabesh, ma'am, and be very happy to hear from you, ma'am.
So thank you for enlightening us about so many things that a parrot, the relevance of a parrot in the dance field. But yes, today's heroine of this evening is Suki, and the heroine who conceptualized this kuti heroine is Pooja. I got your dark name. Yeah? Jagyaseni, Chatterjee. You can clap. You can clap. And I think when she has a guru like her, she had also come home, and she said, "Ek chota sa story, one kuti story." So I said, "What kuti story? What is it? The story is yet to be." This was like 2 days before, and she said, "No, how she got her anklet. That was something that she had in her mind. So I said, okay, and then we started talking, and the ideas, when two people converse, that's when the ideas come. And she agreed. She liked my plot line, which of course I will narrate in few minutes. Um, but what I would like to take away, having been in the corporate world for more than 2 decades, I think Suki is what in HR parlance they call buddy. Someone who understands what peer pressure is, someone who says, come, let art not be intimidating you. Because many people say, enakkellam dance varadu. I mean, my sister is here, my father made sure only she learned dance. He never, I mean, till date I wonder why he never, made me go to a dance teacher, because I love dancing, but now I have 2 left feet. But the whole concept of art being something unapproachable, non-approachable, is something that Suki is going to just take away from the minds of not the children, from the parents. Because I think parents are, we all have doubts. குழந்தைக்கு டான்ஸ் பிடிக்கிறது, குழந்தைக்கு பாட்டு பிடிக்கிறது, குழந்தைக்கு இப்போ நிறைய வீடியோ கேம்ஸ் பிடிக்கிறது. அந்த வீடியோ கேம்ஸ் கம்ஸ் வெரி ஈஸிலி. The dance, part, even storytelling, anything comes later, because you have to say, correctana or a teacher, ameno, all that, it will all come. First, there has to be something called intent. We need to understand that the child wants to learn, the child shows interest. And the moment we know that the child is showing interest and the child wants to learn something, I think it is very important for the parents to recognize that fact, listen to the child, and then all you need is to get this book called Suki, Suki the Parrot, and Suki, I mean, learn dance with Suki. So why I got this buddy system as an example is that many of you here are working professionals, and you'll understand that that is the role Suki has, and to conceptualize something. So I'm glad that you got those vision, and I'm glad you have a guru who says, yes, it's something, even a nod from a guru, I understand what it means. I think it's very, very important for all of you to also place a trust on Suki, saying that here is somebody who is going to help us understand the art. It's very simple. The book is so simple that even I, because my sister will, show the others, and I would be like, okay, she knows more. I don't know anything about it. And if she says tayyate, I will not know. I will not know which feet, which one, whether the hand. I mean, suddenly if you do something like this, this might be Baba, that film. Exactly, right? I wouldn't know what it is in dance parlance, and that could be saying, hey, tappa panna kudadu. But Suki can teach me. Suki can tell me that, hey, this is what you need to do, and you don't have to worry. Simple things like, she told me something so simple. All of us face this. If the teacher is facing the child, and if the teacher puts out her right hand, which hand will the child put out? It's so simple, no? Now we all know, because Zoom la vandu video settings la, mirror image. Because the pandemic has taught us, right? So these are the little things that I find so beautiful in this book. It's going to engage not just with your child, but with you, with each one of the parent, the adult sitting here, the elder brother, sister, and it is something that can become a part of a conversation at home. So imagine a conversation around art will just elevate the entire feelings of positivity, so many things. There's so much more to learn about art. So I congratulate, like Janaki ma'am said, a GIRI trading agency for coming out, placing the trust, and working alongside, because it's not easy to publish a book, especially not in these times when everything is directly dropped to your Kindle or any digital gadget. But a book is here, you can feel, you can smell the book. There is so many things that you can do with Suki, and I'm so happy to be a part of this beautiful event. Thank you so much for making me a part of it, and all the very best. I'm sure this is just the beginning. Suki is going to be flying high, and her dreams are going to outlive yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So many day-to-day and relatable scenarios that you have actually explained that we could experience through this book. So it's really wonderful to know. Thank you so much. I would request Lakshmi Akka to give her wishes.
Good evening, everyone here. My talking is not in the agenda, but with my sore throat, I will just speak a few words. The parrot started flying in our thought and action some 5 years before in 2015. And the first thing I wanted to do was a Varnam. Because every time we do this pining nayikas, like how Janaki Akka was saying, every time pining nayika. So I wanted something little different. And then I thought, instead of a messenger, can we have the parrot? And instead of having a nayika, can we have the mother goddess? So I will ask the mother goddess and send the parent as the messenger and say, it's enough. I've gone through so much. All that I want is your compassion. And look at that. With so many weapons in your hand, there is only one living thing along you, the parrot. All the others, 1,000 arms, 1,000 weapons. And the only living thing is there, and it's also very close to the ear. So it was like, talking to the parrot and saying, will you not go and tell her at an appropriate time and just relieve me out of all these clutches? So this thought came to me, and then I had a very, very beautiful friend, Dr. Shankara Narayanan, who's working in the Kanchipuram University. And I said, could you give the sentences as a poetry so that I can do it as a Varnam? And he asked me, which language do you want? I said, okay, I have quite a bit in Tamil, so could you please write it in Telugu? And then he did it. So that was the first instance of parrot into our repertoire. And slowly I saw parrots everywhere. I mean, somebody going on the scooter wearing a sari, there is a parrot icon. And somebody giving me a gift, and there was a parrot. And so the parrot started flying into our thought and action, and slowly the Margam grew, and that's how in 2018 we staged the Sukha Marga. And I never ever thought she's going to be in a book like this. And it so happened because myself and Pooja, everybody in our family know that we fight more than talk. And we have to quite often say, no, we are only talking. There is nothing more. We are only talking, don't worry. And so, just fine. I mean, I always wanted that such a type of a comfort zone with my teacher and my parents. So that type of, that you can talk, you can fight is just fine and nice. And that makes it more transparent, and that makes the learning much more better than just only accepting the teacher saying yes. So to me, this book is a reflection of many aspects of Pooja herself. And the book is going to help the students learn dance in a fun way. And I hope the book, as both the Janakis told, fly, and many book number 1, book number 2, book number 3, and till the book number N, to help learners understand both in the thought, action, and the performance. I also thank GIRI Publications to have agreed and supported her in this vision of hers. And I'm also thankful to both the Janakis to come here with all your good wishes and talk about the book. I encourage all the parents to buy the book, and it's going to be a very beautiful activity for your children. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Akka. Learn dance the fun way. I think that's going to be the new mantra. Yeah. Okay, we have an exclusive and much awaited Suki story. How did Suki get her anklet? By Janaki Sabesh ma'am. Sit back and enjoy.
Yeah, yeah, I'll stand. Uh, Pooja has to give me something. Your bag is here. Okay, while Pooja hunts for something, I would like to show you some cute little merchandise that Pooja has put together. So this is Suki. Uh, it's a stick. What do I say? It's like a mask. So that's Suki. And um, here is a little sticker which says, I love sticking to my friends, Suki. And then we have bookmarks which says, I keep trying and never give up. I believe in original ideas. I love to dance and dream. Thank you. Learning new things make me happy. So these are the little merchandises that she has put together. There's a lot more in the offering. Okay, so sit back, enjoy, and engage with me as I share the story of Suki. It was late in the night and it was the forest. Now the forest normally is very dark, just like all of you would have heard or even seen in pictures. But every single animal and bird, they were fast asleep except for those sounds of crickets going all kinds of sounds. But there was one little parrot, and that was Suki, who was wide awake. She looked at the moon, she looked down, she looked to her left, she looked to her right. You know why? Because she loved listening to sounds. When everybody was asleep, there was still the frog going grr, 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 all kinds of sounds. And then there was the gurgling of the stream going glug, 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 sala, 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 gala, 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 sala, 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 and the cricket grr, 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 grr. And every time there was a sound, Suki would turn around and saying, this is a new sound. I haven't heard this before. I haven't heard this before. And as she kept wondering, sleep overtook her and she slept off. Next day morning, all her cousins, they said, Suki, come, come, we need to go to the other side of the forest. But Suki would never come. She was just not interested. And they said, you know what, Suki, you're not even like us. And Suki said, she nodded. She was not like them. She did not like to repeat. She did not like to imitate because she had a mind of her own and she was only interested in sounds, following all kinds of new, various sounds which came from wherever. And as the other parrots went saying that, let's just give in, Suki turned around and she started flying. But as she flew, there was a strange kind of smell and sound that suddenly engulfed her. It was a fire. The forest was burning and there was a huge fire, and you know that forest fire, picks up very, very easily, and it was spreading fast. All the animals, all the birds were fleeing, tigers, elephants, everybody was fleeing the forest, but Suki wanted to stay back. But at some point, she lost all her friends, and then she looked up and she said, the moon resides there. Let me go to the moon. And she flew up and up and up, and she could only see darkness. It was dark because it was a forest fire. And as she flew up, she said, all right, I'm going to nest with my moon. I'm going to be very safe here. But the more she flew, she realized the moon was still away. And it was morning, afternoon, and it became dark, and she looked at the moon. The moon was unapproachable, and as she flew, she came suddenly to a very, very different surroundings. There were lots of other kinds of sound. It was not the forest. It was big bricks of buildings. What is this? She's no longer in the forest. She seems to be in some kind of a concrete jungle. She flew high and she didn't know where to perch herself. And finally, she saw some place and she saw a dog. And she said, maybe I can ask finally an animal whom she can relate to. She went to the dog and said, and the dog started barking and almost wanted to eat Suki. Suki fled for her life. She said, this is not working out. What do I do? And suddenly, she found this really strange, some kind of a calmness. There was a tank with water, and there was a triangular, big kind of a building with lots of carved, innate images there, carvings. And there were people who were folding their hands in some kind of a gesture. She didn't realize she was in Kapalishwarar Kovil temple. She didn't realize it was a temple. She heard bells, and she heard the bells, and she started coming towards it. Because again, she was tired. She had not eaten anything. She had not drunk water, nothing. But she heard the bells, and she started coming. And somewhere that bells and the sounds somewhere gave her a lot of peace and calm. She said, maybe this is where I'm supposed to be. And as she looked around, people were looking at her strangely because they were not used to seeing a parrot in the temple, not especially this temple. And then an old man looked at Suki, and out of, he felt something for Suki. He broke something, which she later found out was prasadam. Broke something and gave it to Suki, and Suki was very, very skeptical. She didn't know whether this man would hurt her, but finally she took it with the claw, broke it, and she started to eat. And that's when she got some kind of energy within her. Slowly, the sounds started to fade. Slowly, everybody seemed to go home. But where was Suki to go? She didn't have a home. She was in an alien land. She didn't recognize this concrete jungle. She only knew of her forest. And she started looking out for some corner where she could just lie down. She looked here, she looked there. She wondered if anybody would recognize her, put her. But there were some men who were almost on the way out, and they said, hey, pidi pavla, adi eduthin polam. We can make some kili josiyam. Come. And it was just the gestures of them that made her fly again to the other side of the temple. And she was finally very, very, very tired and just slept. And suddenly, in that night, she wondered whether she had any future, whether she would be ever united with her family and friends back in the jungle. And before she could even think of an answer, all kinds of sounds, ding, 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 so many sounds. She opened her eyes. I told you she loved sounds. She looked here and there and she said, these are beautiful sounds. But then there was another sound. She started flying. She came out of the temple, and as she was coming out, she heard another sound which really, really, really made her feel very, very different, and she was mesmerized. It was ta ka dim mi ta ka ja nu ta ka dim mi ta ka Janu, takka dimmi, taka jannu, taka dimmi, taka jannu, taka dimmi, taka jannu, taka dimmi, taka jannu, taka dimmi, taka. And as she flew closer and closer to these sounds, she realized that it was coming from some kind of a school. The school had windows, the school had a door, and there were some girls and a tutor, and the tutor had something with like a stick, and this teacher was doing something, and they were all copying. She says, they're all like parrots, they're also copying, they're also imitating. What is this? But that takadimi takajanu, takadimi takajanu, takadimi takajanu. And as she went and perched herself near the window, she found their leg movements, takadimi takajanu, and she was completely glued. So much so that she just got lost in it. And then she decided that she would come right at the entrance of the school. And when she came to the entrance, she saw one girl coming right out. She was wearing a checkered sari, and she came out all very, very flustered looking with a surukkupai, and suddenly something fell. It was a salanga. And without even wasting a minute, Suki wanted to go and see near, but then there was this girl, and she said, he is salanga. And as she saw that, one bell came out, and it started rolling on the road and fell right there. Now Suki was so interested, she quickly went, took it with her claw, but it just wouldn't come into her claw. She started playing around. The moment she went, the bell moved. She moved again, the bell moved. She moved this way, the bell moved, and she thought it was some kind of a game, and she started playing. She loved the sound of the bells. And that's when this little girl, incidentally, her name was Saki. And Saki said, she stopped because she saw that this parrot was really, really happy playing with that one bell. And she searched her bag for some biscuits that her amma had packed for snacks. She quickly took a piece of the biscuit and gave it to this parrot. And she said, "Na, Saki, give me back my bell." And for the first time in almost 48 hours, Suki opened her mouth and said, "Suki, Suki." She said, "Illa, Saki." "Suki." She said, "Saki." She said, "Suki, Suki." And then she left it. She said, maybe the parrot can only get Suki, not realizing that Suki was actually introducing herself. And thus began the bond of Suki and Saki. Every day, Suki would come to the dance class and just observe, and especially go with this. And there were days when the children would wear this salanga, and that would be the most happiest day of Suki. Suki would go kutur, 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 almost looking at everybody. And then one day, Saki decides that she's going to give a gift to Suki. She takes a little yellow thread and puts just two bells, because by that time Suki and Saki are best friends. She ties it in the claw of Suki, and Suki can't be thrilled. Now she can dance. So when there's takadimi takajanu, takadimi takajanu, it goes takadimi takajanu, takadimi takajanu, takadimi takajanu, takadimi takajanu. And she's so excited. And one day, when all of them are all dressed, Suki wonders, where are these people going off to? It was a festival in the temple, and all of them wearing nice green color costumes. She says, they're all dressed like me. They're almost dressed like red and green. What are they? And they go back to that same temple. But Suki is in for a shock. There's so much of crowd, and there's these blaring speakers with feedback going on. And Suki goes, there's something strange happening. And then she perches in a corner. She just waits there to see all of them dancing. And as they start dancing, sari, 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 sa, sanida, sari, 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 sa, sanida, ri, sa, Sari 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 sa sanida sari 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 sa sanida ri sa tattaiya tattaiya ta tattai tattai tattaiya tattaiya ta tattai tattai. But as they dance, a little girl loses one of the bell and it pricks her leg, her dainty feet, and Suki is very, very shocked. Suki wants to help. And do you know what Suki does? Just when the girl goes this side, Suki quickly goes and it goes. There is an extra sound on the stage, and she picks up that little bell and goes off. And there is a stunned silence, just like this. People are shocked. People say, "Who's this?" And that's how Suki gets introduced to this world. The audience applauds for Suki because Suki made sure that a student would never get hurt again because of the little bell, because these bells, all of you dancers will know, can be very hurting if it falls and it pricks your feet. And from that day, Suki becomes an integral part, so much so that the Guru adopts her and says, you can also learn to dance. So as Suki starts observing every single step, Suki decides that she would also become a part of the journey of a dancer. And that is how, when you take that book, you will see that Suki is in every page, teaching you how to dance, telling you not to be scared, telling you what are the differences, asking you to match the following. And that's how Suki got the anklet, and I hope Suki is now an integral part of your lives. Thank you.
That was one awesome story. We all love Suki all the more now. Indeed, we saw the story come alive in front of us. Thank you so much, ma'am. So now that we know how Suki got her anklet, it's time you all told about her to everyone you know and make her fly high. I'm sure you're going to do that once you get back home, aren't you? To conclude the event, I request Mr. Ramanarayan, Director Publications GIRI, to propose the vote of thanks, sir.
Radheshyam, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha, Mahaperiyava Sharanam. The dignitaries spoke so beautifully about this book, about this concept. And I, when we took up this publication, looked at it from a very different angle. I'm sure all of you present here are aware of the great Purana called Srimad Bhagavatam. This great Purana, which speaks about the Leelas of Lord Krishna, the darling, was given to us by Shuka Brahma Rishi, the Rishi Shuka, who is picturized in the form of a parrot, Kili. Similarly, this book is meant for small children, kutis. So, Ade Shukabrahma Rishi, Ade Kili Rupathila, Ungalukku ellarkum, இந்த குழந்தைகளுக்கு எல்லாருக்கும் இந்த டான்ஸை சொல்லிக் கொடுக்கறதுக்கு வேண்டி இந்த புக் ரூபத்தில் வந்திருக்கா. I hope not just all of you, you will all take it to all the parents who want their young small kutis children to pursue dance of any form. So this is what, and when Jagyaseni came to me with this concept, I was what do you call, felt very elated with the concept. And that is when we agreed immediately that we will go for the publication of this book. I, as a publisher of this book, thank the great two Janaki Sabeshan and Shruti Janaki Amma, and Lakshmi Ramaswamy ji, the Guru of Jagyaseni, and all of you audience who have graced this occasion. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your kind and supporting words, sir. So I would like Jagyaseni to give a concluding note, and also would like you all to join us for some refreshments after this. Thank you.
I need to bring Bala and Ranga on stage. Could you please come up? They are the one who designed the book. Please come up. Okay. Can we have 2 books here, please? 2 books. Yeah. Come. Yeah. We'll take a photograph. Simple. Thank you, both of you. I know we have fought a lot. I've rarely fought a day and night, but they have really worked and tried to implement as much as possible to whatever, every word, changing everything 1,000 times and still smiling coldly. I have to thank Vani and Avis for being here. I'm completely thrilled and very, very excited, very happy, blessed. I feel very strong seeing both of you. Thank you so much. I'm thankful to our students at Sri Mudralaya. I'd like to mention little Vanshika, who stays in Pondicherry, and Lakshmi Akka gave me to teach her. She's not here. And a very stubborn 8-year-old kid, and I didn't know what to do with her, and it was online. I think Vanshika is the source of everything. I need to thank Pragnya here, a very darling student of hers, very, very talented. Her keen eye towards details and straight-cut, honest feedback. She was my scapegoat. Every time I made a page, I ran it past her so that she identifies basic mistakes or logical anywhere if I went wrong. She was there with me throughout. Thank you so much, Pragnya. Your innocence helped me think more. Come forward. Come. Your innocence really helped me. She didn't have a hesitation. Come. She didn't have a hesitation to tell me, no, Akka, how can you do this? This side, it's not going to work. Just the same as how I feel with Lakshmi Akka, very, very comfortable, she feels the same thing. And that really helped me. Thank you. On the go, I've had vibrant teenagers help me with their smile and willingness to be with me, as in today, Aditi, Vidya, Rajashri. Please come fast. Come with a book. We'll take a copy. They are students of Sri Mudralaya and have been very supportive in my work. I do not have a family here. Sri Mudralaya is my family, and they are all part of my family. Thank you, Mylapore Times. They've already given us a coverage even before the launch. I'm thankful to Vincent sir for doing so. Thank you, Aparnaka, for leading the compare this evening. Colleagues like you are strong points in a person's career and life. Lalitaka is not here, but she's been sharing my posts selflessly. She's a budding stage theatre actor now. So that makes me feel very nice getting it from a celebrity. Thank you, Sharda ma'am, Mrs. Sharda Prakash, Managing Director of GIRI, and the entire GIRI Trading Agency family for believing in me and my ideas. Tide members. Tide has given me a lot of exposure, the Indian Dance Experience YouTube channel, and that has opened another wing for me to explore and curate events. Thank you, Mr. Abhishek Prakash, who is also here. It would be great if we could have you once with the book on stage. Thank you. Tide launched Tatte Kautvam video. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Abhishek. Thank you so much. He's been supporting me throughout in whatever I do. Thank you, Mr. Krishnan of Lakshmi GIRI Hall and helper Venkatesh for making sure everything goes fine. And thank you all of you who have come on a weekday to spend time. Let us share more about Suki, talk more about Suki, and spread more love. That is what she needs. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
Then they will not be visible. No. Don't worry. Don't bother. That's okay.